Hello and welcome to the channel. This is Steel City Knives. Right, as you can see from the thumbnail, I'm doing the video on the famous Sheffield shop. So these were the three knives that I bought from them. I have a video out already, sort of going through these knives. Go and check it out. But I wanted to do a designated video because it was a brilliant experience. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was in there for ages. There's a lot to go over, a lot of things that they sort of got out and shown me that are not for sale, but are just interesting things to go through. So without further ado, well, firstly, let's have a look where it is. So this is Sheffield, and this is where you can find them. They have their own website. Now, as far as knife websites go, there's some that are not that polished in this country, but the famous Sheffield shop has a brilliant website. It's very easy to navigate. There's a lot of good stuff on there, but there's some stuff in the shop that's not put onto the website. So it's always worth calling them up, emailing them. She has some fantastic staff. They're all a credit to Jane. So Jane's the owner, and honestly, she's so knowledgeable. She's so friendly. I went there to go and search out history and to have a look around for the cutlers. I didn't realise how much I would enjoy just visiting this shop. I thought it's just a shop at the end of the day. All they're doing is selling sort of the knives. But for a UK guy where we have hardly any knife shops, having that experience of going in there, handling the knives, talking to people, it was an experience on its own. And we're going to go through that now. Okay. So I was going to record it all, and this was the intro. Right. Welcome to the channel everybody. It's Steel City Knives. I swung into Sheffield real quickly just for a flying visit, and we're just going to give the famous cutlery shop a visit and hopefully not spend too much money, but all right. And then I was met with this. This was the first thing that I saw when I went in there. And all the professional, I was going to hopefully do an interview and things like that, but I was met with this cabinet, and then that was it. It was all downhill from there because the recording just went out the window, interviews went out the window. I just was in my element. And I was lucky enough to meet Jane, and she is such a knowledgeable person, and all the staff are fantastic. They're just really passionate people that just really love Sheffield and the cutlers and everything. It's such a good place to go visit. And it's just talking to like-minded people, and the passion that they have is just, it really does shine through. And yeah, like I say, this was the first cabinet I came across. So it's brilliant. The shop's got so many things in there, all sort of Sheffield-made stuff like tankards and loads of stuff. I didn't even look at the fixed blades. They had a few fixed blades and hunting knives and things like that, and I didn't get a chance to get them out and have a look at them. They had a wide variety of cutlery books, so if you're a bit of a knife nerd like me, you'll appreciate stuff like that. I didn't even look over them. I took some pictures, so that this is what they had to sell. They also had, above that is a cabinet for reference books for the staff. And they opened that up, and I had a quick look in there, and as you can see, you got Levine's Guide 3rd edition, but there were some phenomenal books in there, and I took a quick picture. So they're the ones just for the staff. So and I was, they probably would have let you have a look through them, and there were some phenomenal books in there, and that's what I mean. There was just all these hidden gems everywhere. One of the hidden gems that I came across, so George Wolstenholme was owned briefly by Schrade. Now I love Schrade. I love American cutlery anyway, and I've got a couple in the collection here, and I really did want to. I will do a video on it one day. But Jane owned one, not for sale, but she got it out. We was talking about that, and that's what I mean. It was just such a brilliant place to go and visit. Another brilliant thing that they had was this it was a reprinted catalogue from Joseph Rogers from 1896. And the person that printed it is a bit of a special person in Sheffield as well. And I'll talk about in another video, but it's 136 pages long, and I'll be honest with you, I spent a lot of time looking at that, and it ate a lot of time up. But that is just a bit of me. That is something I really enjoy, so much so it sort of made me go out and source one myself. Now I'm thinking about doing a series where we look at like cutlery books. I'm just working out a way of how to film it, but I found this one. So this is from a Canada sort of hardware store. It was from 1901, and it's just now James was strictly Joseph Rogers. This has got all sorts. It's got some sort of German made knives. There's a lot of Sheffield brands in here as well, but some phenomenal patterns, some phenomenal knives, just some amazing. And there's a lot to go through, but just some amazing lots of bokehs here and all sorts. But yeah, one for another video definitely. But yeah, that's what I mean. It sort of led me on that sort of journey to go and find some old catalogue books and things like that. So, but we'll save that but that's what I mean. It's just such an experience to go and see and talk to the staff. And right, should we get on and we'll have a look what was there. So the first cabinet is phenomenal. It was absolutely brilliant. As you can see here, it's absolutely chocker with some absolutely insane knives. So we've got 3 George Wolstenholme Stockmans. Now these, I hate doing videos like this because I'm worried that they're going to sell, but I really want that one that's in oak. It was retailing for £110 and it just looks phenomenal. And I got to hold it and I thought, I really want this knife. And that was one I nearly went for, pulled the trigger on. But I'm trying to build up my Michael May collection. I've not got many Premier collection Taylor Eyewitnesses and things like that, but I'm a big George Wolstenholme fan, they looked absolutely phenomenal. And then 2 George Wolstenholme Barlows, and again there was one in oak, and the oak it was really stunning. It was such a good looking knife. And then we've got 16 Taylor Eyewitness Premier Collection knives, and too many to go over individually, but just look at them. And what I've done a short of this whole cabinet, and I'll release it on the day that I put this out. So, but just what a cabinet. And the good thing about Jane is she's got like a real broad spectrum of price ranges. So these are definitely more on the premium side, but then we're going to have a look at the more budget lines. And it's brilliant how she set them out. So you met with all the expensive ones and the sort of middle range, and then the cheap ones are sort of on their own. So let's have a look at the other cabinets. So what's on the screen now? I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. I can't see there being a problem with it. But so a good thing about knowing these sort of companies is they've got a bunch of Ashley Harrison custom knives in. I think they're retailing for about £220. A bit out of my budget, but they were kind enough to email me and send me pictures. And that's what I mean. If you build relationships up with these people, then they'll do things like that for you. Now, unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to decline. If I was going to spend that amount of money, I think my next, will be that. It's definitely going to be the George Wolstenholme gun stock, because I'm in love with that thing. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. But again, it's a great deal of money. But if I was going to spend that sort of money on a knife, I'm going to buy that, because the wood, the pattern, it's just phenomenal. It does look stunning, and definitely one I would like in the collection. But they did send these, and they are phenomenal. And Ashley Harrison's very, a brilliant cutler. And it was a bit heartbreaking to say that I didn't want them. I don't think I've emailed him back yet. I'm still, but that's what I mean. They have things that they probably may not put on the website. So it's always good calling them up, emailing them, build up a bit of a relationship with them. And then, like I say, they had 3 Ashley Harrison custom knives that all look phenomenal. But another great thing about these, or about the famous Sheffield shop, is, so let's take Taylor's Eyewitness, for example. You can go on their website and you can see all of the knives that they're producing at the moment, but Taylor's Eyewitness do not sell directly, so they'll go through a seller. So if you find something on the catalogue that you want, you could call Jane or the staff up, get them to put the order in, and then they're sort of like a middleman. So good in that respect, because I found that a bit frustrating really, because there was a tailor's eyewitness knife I wanted. I couldn't find it on any of the sellers, so I rang them up directly. Unfortunately, they can't sort of sell it to you directly. But now I know somebody that can then go and get that knife ordered for me and be sort of the middleman. So that's a brilliant bit of information that I found out recently from Sam, who works there. So and also there's sort of waiting lists, or sometimes a lot of, like, I think Michael May, you can put an order in, but there might be a bit of a waiting time. But if you sort of ring Jane up, she might have one of those in stock on the shelf anyway. So, you know, it's the more shops and places there are like this, the better it is for us, really, definitely. Right, let's have a look at what's actually in the shop. So then I was met with this cabinet. Now, this cabinet was brilliant. It had a sort of a range of, I mean, I like the boy knife pattern, and they had some phenomenal. Look at the stag on this. And looking back at my photos, I'm like, why didn't I pick that up? Because the stag has got so much, it just looks phenomenal. It's double bladed and just phenomenal knife. I just think it's got so much character, that stag. And then we had one in buffalo horn. Both of them were multi-bladed. I went for the cheaper version. I went for the Delrin. But I love that pattern. It's just so simple and quality. And just, I absolutely love it. And then they had some Joseph Rogers. A brilliant selection here. I've actually got one where you see it just looks, it's such a slim knife. It's just sort of got the liners. A brilliant budget knife, really, to get. And it's a really slim carry. It really is a good slim carry. And then they had sort of like the army clasp knives. And looking back at my pictures, there's one with a coping blade that says the city of Sheffield on it. And that looks brilliant. I love a coping blade. Look how good that looks. And I don't know why I didn't pick that up. It was only 20 odd pounds. But that would be brilliant. That would be a brilliant knife to carry. And then they had a few with the marlin spikes. So, like I say, looking back at some of the footage that I took in the videos and the pictures and that, I'm like, why didn't I get that one? That one's brilliant. You know, but, you know, I think being a knife lover, you're always going to want more, ain't you? Definitely. Right, should we have a look at another one? Right, and then this cabinet had, and this really does show you, so a lot of the tailor's eyewitness knives in here, the budget range, and I didn't realise, well, I did realise, but when you see them all together, it's nice to see. So they do the Premier collection, and that is a phenomenal collection and very expensive, but they also cover the budget side of things. And like I say, I think a lot of rural farmers and things like that would carry and do carry these kind of knives. So you've got like the Beck's range, with sort of the sort of plasticky covers. Then you've got the screwed, that they've called this the endurance range. So it's a relatively new range, I think that one is. And then they've got the rosewood. And that rosewood, it does come sort of unfinished, so you have to oil it up and all the rest of it. But again, you've got 3 different lines there, ranges, that they're very budget orientated, but just still phenomenally sort of handmade knives, and covering all bases, really, tailor's eyewitness, with that budget and the premium sort of selections that you can get from them. And then obviously they had that one Michael May ergonomic on the side there that I ended up picking up. Now this is an Arthur Wright pruner that Jane had made for the 40th anniversary of the shop, which was last year. So the shop was has been around since 1983, and it's got that sort of cap end, sort of flat cap end, but a nice thing to have. And I nearly picked that up, to be honest. It was a nice knife to have, and a nice for the shop as well, to have something like that. And there still are available, not that many left, but still available. But right, that was sort of like the last cabinet, unfortunately. And that's it. I wish we had more knife shops in the UK, and it just seems to be a thing of the past now. And there's a few that we had. I know a lot of them are going to just online only, and we're missing out, because if that's what you have in America and you get to talk to really passionate, like-minded people, we really are missing out, because it was phenomenal. It was just such a good experience. I went in there thinking it was just a knife shop, and there'd probably be somebody behind the counter that didn't really know a lot about pocket knives, and I'd go and pick up a few. But what I actually had, and it was an experience. It was talking to really knowledgeable, really passionate people, They got out some of their own knives. It was just brilliant. It was, and looking at that old catalogue, some of the old cutlery books, some of their reference books. I didn't even get a chance to have a look at the fixed blades that they keep and the hunting knives and things like that. It was just, I would definitely go again. Next time I'm in Sheffield, I will swing by and go and have another look. So there was a lot of stuff that I didn't record, I didn't film. So much more that shop's got to offer, and just a really good person and people to know in the sort of knife community. So just a phenomenal experience. And I know I'm probably overselling it, but I'm not. Well, I wish we had more of this really in this country, and they're doing a brilliant job, all of them. But yeah, just phenomenal. But yeah, it was good seeing the history. And what people don't realise about the history is sometimes people look at knife history and maybe think it's a bit boring, or they're not interested. They're just bothered about what's relevant and what's now. But we are part of history. You just don't know it yet. We are, so decades and, 50 years down the line, people will talk about us, and we were part of that history, and we're keeping it alive by buying these knives. And the choices that we make and what knives we buy will dictate the future for the knife lovers in the future. So if you go out and buy and support a lot of Chinese companies and things like that, they will do well, and that's what the next generation will have to look forward to. But if you go and, support American-made cutlery, or, Sheffield-made cutlery or European cutlery, it will keep it alive, and that's what the future generations will get. So, as much as people are history, but we are part of history, you just don't know it yet. But yeah, just a bit of food for thought to leave you on. But thank you very much, Jane. Thank you very much to all the staff. I greatly appreciated the time that you spent with me and that you humoured me. And I will definitely be swinging by next time I'm in Sheffield. Thanks all for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.